to Murder Therapy with Doll Talk. So,
Welcome.
fun story. Well, not super fun story, but we had a lot of technical difficulties last night. So, this should have been recorded last night and did not get to
It was so
because
bad.
Ashley's computer is yeah, Ashley's computer is just like completely bogged down. And then on
Listen.
top of that, we have a guest with us in the room today, little Cora. God love her.
Cora.
She has RSV, and I have her in here with me because Nathan hasn't got home from work yet. So if you hear a baby crying in the background, I'm not a bad mom, I swear.
I'm not a bad
she
mom.
just
No, we're just moms. That's what that
we're
is.
moms, exactly. So
So,
she's chilling in here with us, literally fighting sleep. I've got up to give her her passy like 18 times, and every time I sit down, out it comes.
oh,
She's like,
see, you got a little one. She ranges from all ages. I've got a 14-year-old that literally like doesn't come out of his bedroom and away from his video games. So she's got some of those too.
right.
But
I've got, well, Colin's 12. Um, Literally going through the change. Right now, I'm the enemy for everything.
womp
Everything's
womp
always my fault.
womp.
And Carson, he's 9, but like the size of a 6-year-old. But I don't think he's ever gonna grow, Ash.
Oh,
I
I
don't think he's
love
ever gonna
Carson.
grow.
He's my
I
little
know, but
buddy.
he's so spunky. He does not let his height get in his way whatsoever.
I
And
love it.
on the way to the house, when I went and picked them up for moms when they got off the bus, he was literally talking about that he wants to try out for basketball. And
Oh
just
no.
picturing that in my well, most people that play basketball, you got to be tall. And I don't want to be that mom that's like, devastating his dreams or whatever. But
Just pop his bubble. I'm just gonna say our whole family's short. I played basketball for 7 years, so I was good at it though. I mean, but I was always guard. There was no other position you can play when you're small. Sorry, Carson.
yeah,
I hate to be.
well, Collins. I know. God love him because again, he's wearing 6T clothes and he's 9. He'll be 10 in September. I had to think
No.
about it because when you have 3, like they all run together. But then Colin is as tall as I am now. Colin's wearing a size 7.5 in men's and shoes.
Jeez, that's Jaden.
I
14.
know.
Him
He's
and his
just
dad
like,
wear the same size shoe, which is size 12.
Jesus.
I know. I know.
Well, Colin's catching right up.
I know.
Yeah, he was reminding me today. He's like, I need new cleats, Mom. I was like, I know, Colin. I'm very well aware that you need new cleats for baseball. I'm very well aware that you're growing. You don't have to throw it in my face and rub it in or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, Jaden got new cleats every year. He's getting ready to kick up high school soccer. This is his first year of high school soccer, and we just got his schedule yesterday. Holy cow, it's literally every day this summer.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him, though. He's really good. Like, I was so impressed watching all your posts over the summer, last summer, I mean,
so
like
good.
where he was like about the only one scoring goals and stuff. I was like, there we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Not to toot my horn, but or my son's horn. He scored. I'm pretty sure there's like a gnat in this. Ugh, it's driving me nuts. Fun fact, before we were recording, I was walking around with my little bug zapper racket thing trying to kill it, and I can't find it.
You have one of those?
Yeah, they're awesome. But
Dad wants one to hit the wood borers with.
I got my dad one for Christmas, but my dad had 2 other ones. But they are fantastic, and it comes with like a mount, so you can just leave it sit up and just be a bug zapper. It's pretty awesome.
And just be a bug zapper. Hold on, I'm giving a passy. I'm listening though. I can still hear you.
But yeah, anyway, Jaden, I'm pretty sure he got like well over 6 hat tricks last year, and it was phenomenal. He scored well over like 25 goals last season, so I'm super excited to see where high school will take him. So it'll be fun.
Well, he's got lots of years of experience. He's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, he's been playing for a long time. So, but yeah, other than that, did you have a good week? Other than sick baby?
Other than yes, and so this is what sucks about yesterday when that happened. I work. Okay, so people know I work in mental health, right? Well, my office is on a ward, if that makes sense, but it's nothing but offices. Like it used to be a ward that housed patients on it, but they There's no patients on the unit. It's just nothing but offices. So Ward G is what we call it. They like to do birthday parties for like each month for whoever, and my birthday's Sunday. So
Yes.
we had, a little birthday
21st
party thing
people.
yesterday. I know I'm gonna be 29 for the fifth year in a row. Yeah, but so we had that going on. We had tacos and it was great. And it's psychology week, so my department was celebrating psychology week. So we were gonna have a potluck like right after. Like me and my boss was like, we were joking like we were just gonna graze all day, and then the daycare called and they're like, Cora has a temperature, and I was like, shit. So I literally booked it out of there because I'm worried, obviously, and here we go again, RSV round 2. So, but other than that, it's been great. It's been great. Last night when we were trying to record though, and I want to bring this up because I'm really proud of Tritone Records, and I want them to get a shout out
Get their
because they've been so supportive
flowers.
of me. Yes, they're great. Get
Yeah.
their flowers. I love that. I can buy myself flowers. Well, they don't sing little fluffy songs like that, like Miley Cyrus
They are
does.
far from fluffy.
Um, they're far from
Uh,
fluffy, but they're all phenomenal, and I
yeah.
like that they are a group, but they all kind of bring their own thing, whether it's joking. Like I can't remember all their names. Ash, who's the one that raps super fast, and
Uh,
he's got that really.
it's hard because we're all close, so I always like to call them by their regular names. But in out of respect when you're talking to them or to other people about their projects and their music, that's Rebel Spaz. He is a Dayton. He's from Dayton. He's a chopper rapper, which is an extremely fast rapper. He's very analytical.
She ain't lying. He's fast as fuck.
He's so fast. It's ridiculous. So, Tritone is the label that my husband belongs to. And they're not a group, but we have to pay for slots on certain shows, and we want to be fair and make sure everybody gets their music heard. So they're all individual artists. We just share slots. So, but Tritone Music is the label. There's Rebel Spats, who's a chopper rapper. There's Alter Ego. He kind of brings the darker. I don't want to say emotional. That's terrible, but he's the darker rap. He's fantastic. And then there is Izzy, and he's kind of on Ryan's vibe. And there's my husband Ryan. His stage name is Captain Smoke, CAPTN. All of them are on all platforms. And Ryan, I like to say, is a lyricist rapper. He really likes to tell a story in his rapping and in his music. He's absolutely fantastic. He really is trying not to stick to one like genre or style of rap. And then there's other guys that are in the backgrounds of things in Tritone, like their manager KFC. And I gotta give him a shout out. His stage name is Mike Vile. He's part of Tritone. He doesn't really perform a lot, but he's got into making beats, and he made our intro music from scratch for this podcast, which my husband is also turning into a song as well. So flowers to him, because it's awesome.
I love that it's flowers.
Yes. You gotta give him flowers.
Well, well, thanks Tritone for being so supportive of Doll Talk, and I just love that. So they're great. They were so kind to me when I was in Ohio. Which one's the little guy that got up on the pool table the night that I came to that show? Which one was that?
That's Richie.
You know who I'm talking?
Yeah, I love him to death. Unfortunately, he decided to go a different way with other than Tritone. He's kind of getting on his own vibe, and so.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, I still love him. He's great. So.
Well, yeah. I hope he's doing well. Shout out Richie. Hey.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Check him out as well. So we wish him nothing but good things. So yeah, they're fantastic. But Jody got to come to a show, and it was awesome. It was one of the smaller shows. They do like sold out packed shows. My husband's opened up for Struggle Jennings. He's opening up for Chris Calico this weekend. If you were in the high school kind of music, if you're in my age, you're familiar with ICP, I'm sure. He's done multiple shows with them. And in that realm, ABK, Twisted. He's done multiple shows with all of them. He's went on a few tours. All of them have. So, yeah, it was cool. But Jody got to see a smaller, more intimate show. So, yeah.
I
Yeah,
did, and Ryan didn't want me to go to it, but
I know.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I would love to come and experience one of the bigger shows. But
Yeah,
if you come in my live streams, you've heard some of Ryan's music on my playlist
yeah.
at some point. I need to put more, but I swear every time, because I use Pandora Premium, and every time I pull it, like there's not that many on there for him.
Yeah,
Whereas I think he's got
a
songs on
lot.
like other things like
Yeah.
YouTube and whatnot, which I'm thinking about switching up, for my live stream instead of using Pandora Premium, because I feel like YouTube has a little bit more
We
options
pay
and
for
whatnot,
YouTube Premium and it's fantastic. But yeah, and Ryan's on there too. But yeah, I definitely want you to experience a more packed out show. We just did the last big show was Juggle Ohio, which is a show Ouija Mac. He's more relevant to the kids today. And he does a show every year and that was sold out. It was crazy fun. So
That's so cool.
you have to come
I
down
love
or
it.
up for one of those down the
Well,
road.
yeah, down the road. Well, that's not down the road. That's 5 hours. Sorry guys. Cora's battling sleep. God love her. She's like fighting tooth and nail, and she can barely hold her eyes open. She's over there. She's like,
Oh,
"Ugh."
she's gonna
But
pass
anywho,
out.
yeah, I literally told Colin when he was helping me. Colin always helps. He's so great. He's such a responsible
He
young
is.
man. He is. He's great. Well, all my kids are great, but he was literally helping me with Cora, giving her a bath and stuff because I struggle. My bath is real low, so it's hard for me to get her out, by myself. So he was helping me get her out of the bath. Now we were talking about Ohio, and I was like, I'd like to go up to Ohio this summer so that you guys can come because they didn't get to come the last time.
Yes.
And he goes, like Ohio, like all the memes, Ohio. And I said, what are you talking about memes? He goes, my friends share a lot of memes about Ohio. I was like, I haven't seen these memes yet, so I don't know what kind of damn memes and what they're talking about with
Listen.
Ohio. I'll let you know.
Yeah, me and Colin need to talk because I need to know what these are.
Yeah, apparently there's memes about. Well, I'm sure there's memes about Virginia too. Like,
If it's
but
about
he was
weather, it's
like
true. It's all true. So
I don't know. I didn't ask because again, I'm dealing with a sick baby right now. But I was like,
get into that
what
later.
kind of fucking memes are you looking at? So yeah, that's gonna be my parental talk later. Like, I need
Yeah.
to see these memes.
I mean,
So
speaking
yeah,
about facts of
but
on Ohio, I mean, if he's referring to this one, which this segues right into our next topic, Ohio is like the leading number of serial killers in the country.
mm-hmm.
Which Jody messaged me
You
the
know
other
who?
day, and she was like, "Oh my god!"
God, I did. It's because that was the website that I was telling you about that I
Yeah,
sent you the links for.
and her favorite
I was
serial
going down
killers
rabbit
from
holes.
Ohio. Eh.
Yes, my favorite serial killer. It's so fucked up to even say. Like, I have a favorite serial killer, but my favorite is Jeffrey Dahmer. I am the advocate that he was mentally ill, not condoning the behavior at all. Okay, he was a very shitty person, but I'm like, damn it, Lionel, why didn't you give us his fucking brain? Like, we could have learned so
Damn
fucking
it,
much,
Lionel.
but damn it, Lionel, why? There's things I need to know, but
Yeah.
he is from Ohio, and his first murder happened in Ohio. But one day we will cover the Dahmer series. Like, I want to. You
Oh, we
really
will,
want
because I love
to.
Dahmer, but he's not my favorite. Ed Kemper, he took
No.
that spot.
He's such an asshole. Like,
Motherfucker is
but
ruthless. Oh my god. I won't even get
I
into it
just
until
love.
we do it, but like I got
Yeah.
things.
Okay. That works. That works. But we're not talking about Ed
No.
Kemper.
No.
We ain't talking about Dahmer. I listen. I could talk about Dahmer for hours. We could go down that
Who are we talking
trail
about?
for hours and hours.
Oh, it's this way
We're
on my
talking
camera.
about we're talking about this fucker, Henry Lee Lucas.
We're finishing this fucker.
Yes, we are finishing. That sounds like we're finishing the fucker of the fuckery of Henry Lee Lucas.
Yes.
And
It gets real
I
this
thought,
episode, you guys.
yes, yeah, it's
Real.
about to get real. And I thought that we had got through all the disgustingness, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, we
No.
didn't. I'll try to do better to give you a trigger warning. Unfortunately, Ash can't utilize the trigger warning and fast forward. She has to just grit her teeth and get through it. But yeah, we're gonna do Henry Lee Lucas. So where we left off, Henry had been arrested, which was just for a weapon charge. He had a firearm, and he thought that he had been caught. He's not very smart whatsoever.
No.
And here he's like, "Oh, I guess you know what I did." And then he goes to court, and he's like, "What about these 100 other people I killed?" And people are like, "What, homie?
Like he was about to be
what?"
sentenced for his one crime, and then he just like buried himself with that one statement and shocked everybody.
The look. I don't know how many times I rewound. Like I went back and I looked. The judge is like, he's like appalled, grabbing his seat. He's like, "Did anybody else just hear what the fuck he just said?"
I know.
But yeah, so Henry, has said, "What about these 100 others?" And the media at this point has gone fucking wild, and that's when
Fucking bonkers.
everything took a change. They went bonkers. So he starts confessing more and more, like what crimes he did know about. He's coming forward. He's like, "I did this one. I did this one. Yeah, I did that." And it's wild because it's just weird to even hear myself say it, because I can't believe that they would ever treat a criminal this way. Mind you, a murderer.
Yeah.
Like I work, studying forensics and whatnot. I've learned that you have to build a rapport. You know what I mean? Like you have to build that trust barrier, and that might mean that you got to go and kind of pamper them a little bit. You tell me you want an orange soda. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you an orange soda, and I'll, spill the tea, kind of thing.
You want a Big Mac? I got you a Big Mac, sir.
Yeah, I'll get you a Big Mac. And there's been times when there's been mass shootings when they're trying to get the shooter to, leave the premises, like surrender themselves, that they've tried to bargain, and utilize things like that, food or drinks, or "I got a cigarette out here waiting on you," whatever it may be. But they take it to a whole new level. A whole fucking new level.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So the more he's talking about all these crimes, he's going into detail saying, all right, trigger warning, here we go, that he was a cannibal, that he was a necrophiliac, that he liked to dismember people. He was confessing to literally every form of murder and gross tactic that you can possibly think of, other than poisoning people. He didn't do that. For some reason, he did it all. He did it all except poisoning people. I don't know what it was about poison. Maybe he didn't have access to it. I don't fucking know. But he was like, I stabbed him, I strangled him, I shot him. I did all the things, but I did not poison anybody. And no, honey.
Can I take some popcorn?
Yes. Oh, Colin just came in here. Sorry. I'm in the middle of like recording. This is bad when your kids know you're a true crime expert, and they come in and I'm going, he did necrophilia and all this, and they're just standing there with a pack of gummies, and he's like, "Do you want these?"
Can I eat them?
No, I'm good.
Continue on with your death talk.
Can I yeah, can I pop some popcorn? I'm like, sure, go for it. Sorry. Anywho, oh, that was good.
Nothing out of the norm for Mom.
Yeah. So, as he's confessing these things, law enforcement all across the nation, they're calling down in Texas, and they're like, "We want his fingerprints. We want hair. We need, his saliva." They're testing DNA, the whole 9 yards. And Lucas is claiming that he picked up most of his victims on the interstate. And what kills me, he's like, "Yeah, I picked them up on the interstate, and I just kill him." Like that's just casual, normal talk for him. Well, he did. That's how he was like, "I'd pick him up on the interstate,"
He was so nonchalant about giving up, like he was just having a normal conversation. "Yeah, I did this. I did this. Yeah, I did it."
Yeah, and well, he also quoted, trigger warning, that he would rather have sex with a dead woman than a live woman. Ugh. Let that sink in for a moment. Yeah, I know. It's like, no, none of that is okay, sir. But but he just says it like it's like casual talk, like how we were talking about, our kids and stuff. Like he's like, I'd rather have sex with, a dead woman than a live woman. But he also emphasized
they can't be a lot of fun. I don't get it.
I don't want to think about it. It's I don't want to think about it at all.
No.
Like, Anywho, just ooh, like it's grossed me out completely. Well, he did emphasize to police a lot how much he had a hate for women, but we got to look back for a second. Think about this. His mother was a very fucked up person.
Yep.
So,
flashback to part 1.
Yeah, flashback to part 1. Remember, his mother was a piece of shit, and I'm sure she is in the deepest depths of hell that she possibly could be in.
Oh yeah.
But that you got to kind of correlate that to his hatred of women. Not condoning the things that he's done at all. Murder is not the answer, sir. There's many other mechanisms that you could have went for coping instead of like dismembering little Becky and whatnot. But he was telling police, I hate women. I have this just rage, which again, you look back and you're like, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it. I get his trauma. He also tells them, now remember, him and Otis, now this is where Otis is about to come back in. Him and Otis were doing shady, fucked up shit together. They were killing people together. And they're like, all right, so now we need to get, Otis's side of things. And they learn very quickly that Otis is incarcerated in Florida, okay? So then they're interviewing Otis. And Otis is just going along with everything that Lucas said. He's like, well, if he said it, yeah, it happened. Yeah, we did that. Yeah, we did fucked up shit.
Yeah, he was the best partner in crime ever.
I don't know. What kills me though, I encourage you to watch the documentary that's on Netflix.
So good.
It's really good. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. But I want us to focus on the part where they decide they're going to interview both of them together. And I'm sure they did this several times, but they have a clip. And mind you, the time, like, videotaping wasn't the best then, so it's kind of like glitchy and whatnot. But I swear to God, it's like Beavis and Butthead in a fucking room together, and they're sitting there. Well, it's true, and they're grinning. They have this shit-eating looking grin, and it's like, I've studied body language, and that screams lying left and right, and they're grinning. And Otis looks over at fucking Henry. He's like, yeah, I like to drink the blood out of them. Tastes like barbecue sauce. What? Sir, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, that's what they said. I mean,
you're going to taint barbecue sauce for so many people, sir.
Well, I don't really like barbecue sauce anyway. I'm a picky eater, as you know. I don't. And if I did, Otis totally fucked that up for me. If I would have.
No more.
So
now I really don't like barbecue sauce.
Anybody that listens to this is gonna be like, yep, never again. So, but they were talking about like putting people on grills, like they'd kill them and then they'd put them on a grill, and it was like you were just having like it's so weird, and it's like these confessions, and I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty, and we're not going to go over every single person because we would do this.
It's so much
for days and days. There's just, it's ridiculous. But
well, and then we also we'll get into it more, but we don't know what truly was confirmed him and what's not. So
right. Well, they're fucking stupid. And now, you know what's sad is when Nathan listens to this, he loves Beavis and Butthead, so maybe I won't wake up in the middle of the night to him putting Beavis and Butthead on the TV anymore. There's nothing worse than waking up hearing Beavis, noises that he makes. Like, that's the worst thing to wake up to in the middle of the night. So maybe he won't want to watch Beavis and Butthead anymore. I don't know. We'll see.
It's so opposite in my house. We fall asleep to what I want. And Ryan's like, can we please fall asleep to something other than Friends? Like...
Well, I usually, so Nathan games at night, and most people know I'll do my live streaming usually, and then I go back and I sleep with the TV on anyway. And I'll usually have something true crime related on because I can fall asleep to, Ted Bundy decapitating somebody. That's not a big deal to me, whatever. I mean, it is a big deal. I just want to, like, I don't want people to think that I don't, yeah. I just, will you give her passy back?
See, that's a thing.
Thank
I
you.
can fall asleep to true crime stuff. It's and I love it, but the music when I'm sleeping like invades my dream, and I can't.
It doesn't me.
Oh,
But Nathan will be in here playing video games, and then when he decides he's going to come to bed at like 1:30 in the morning, he'll turn on something else, and it's usually some adult cartoon like King of the Hill. But for a while, it was Beavis and Butthead, and I would wake up to freaking Beavis doing those noises, and I was like, "That's not soothing to me whatsoever." But yeah. So I just had to throw that out there. So yeah.
so they're
Okay.
they're
Anywho,
real life Beavis and Butthead.
They are the real life Beavis and Butthead.
It's a good comparison.
They're like
really
dumber. They're dumber than the real life Beavis and Butthead. So as these confessions continue, our murder count has got up to 600 at this point. So think about that. Like,
yeah.
There's no fucking physical way that you killed that many people. I mean, you would have literally had to be getting up at the ass crack of dawn when the sun was rising and like, all right, well, let me go on my murder spree and go do your thing. And then, man, it's been a long day. It's 11 o'clock at night. Let me go to bed and repeat tomorrow. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. The most infamous case, though, that Henry Lee Lucas confessed to was the Orange Socks case. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of that because we could probably do like what? Do you want to get into the nitty gritty of Orange
It's
Socks?
just the Orange Socks. It was mentioned so much in the documentary when I was doing research. And like, I feel like it was still, by the end of the documentary, unsolved. And it made me mad because
I have a fun fact about
I need to know
the Orange Socks thing. So, I don't know that again, if somebody knows, comment, or email us or whatever. I don't think that it's actually ever been confirmed. But during that era, he confessed to it. And, of course, this is the case that resulted in Henry getting the death penalty.
Yes.
Now, if you're not familiar with Orange Socks, the reason that this person was called that is because when they found her, she was completely naked and all she had on was orange socks.
Mm-hmm.
The fun fact that I'm going to share with you, I just learned this a couple days ago, actually. So we got a new chief of security. His name's Kurt. Kurt's from Texas. Kurt was a Texas Ranger.
Kurt,
and I was
got
like,
the juice.
Yeah, Kurt. He does. He actually sent me a case that he worked that we're going to end up doing. It's really interesting. But
That's
I had
exciting.
to ask him. I was like, yo, Kurt. He's like, yes. And I said, you were a Texas Ranger, right? And he goes, yes. I said, are you familiar with Henry Lee Lucas? And he said, well, that was before my time. But I ended up working directly under one of the investigators that dealt with Henry Lee Lucas.
Interesting.
And here we go. Orange Socks. There's a nurse that I work with who I think that Orange Socks was actually a cousin to her.
What?
Yes. She's from Texas. And I did not know this till I talked to Kurt. And I could be wrong. I'm going to double check with him. She's related. It's either a cousin or it was her aunt. One or the other. I can't remember. And because they finally was able to identify who she was. But as far as actually who was responsible for that death, I don't know that that's ever actually been confirmed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't think it has. But just to touch base, like once our death count got up to 600 for Henry, at this point, he started confessing, of course, because everybody knew they were grifters and they were all over the country and traveling and killing. So all these investigators started getting light bulbs like, let's contact him. Let's get them to fly. We'll fly him out here. We want to see if he's.
Yeah.
They started just checking cases off their books. Like, we want to know if he did this one. We want to know if he did this one so we can close these cases. So that's how all of these are racking up. Like, they were bring him out here, bring him out here, bring him out here. And he was literally traveling, seeing the whole country. They were feeding him. They were spoiling him because they wanted him to confess. And at this point, he's confessing to everything. And then he comes across orange socks. And, like, I'm telling you, they're taking him to the places where they found the body and the murder happened. And he's giving them detail for detail of what he did, like, to get to the person, what he did with the person, and then what he did after. So he's giving, like, major details.
Well, wouldn't you do the same if you're in jail and you're given a milkshake every fucking time you confess something? I swear to God, it's like if you go back to when you potty trained Jaden, I'll give you a reward every time you poop in the potty. I mean, it's bonkers. So why wouldn't you? And when he was going to these places, he wasn't being handcuffed, which is fucking petrifying if you think about it.
He got really close with that. He had I can't think, like, I don't know if he was a police officer or what his position was. I think he was an investigator. He got really close to him, and they were on a friendly, because he's always been so willing to do, he cooperates very well. So they treated him well. And then they got buddy, not like best friend status, but they trusted him to not cuff him and stuff like that. So yeah, he was being chartered all over the place just to see if he did these crimes. It was insane. So like, they're not handcuffing him. They're treating him like literally a normal person and not like a prisoner at all.
Well, he was more treated like a celebrity, if you want my opinion. So I was giving her passy.
I agree 100%.
People's gonna be like, who keeps getting up? He was treated more like a fucking celebrity. It was crazy. And the whole thing's bonkers, but there's no physical evidence that links him to orange socks, which we'll learn with a lot of these others. There's not a lot of physical evidence either, because his defense attorney, his name was Don Higginbottom. Regardless of the fact that I'm probably not saying the last name correctly, but Don he's fighting tooth and nail because he's like, I know for a fucking fact that my client didn't do this. And I admire Don because, granted, he's supposed to be his defense attorney. Henry wanted the death penalty. That's what blows my mind. He wanted to be executed. But even though he's supposed to be doing what his, client wants him to do, he's like, but you didn't do this. Mm-hmm. Like,
and the person that did is just wandering free because they think they found who did it.
Right. That's the disturbing part.
So really, are you doing justice by letting them close a case that's wasn't you? It's bonkers. Like, it just, oh God. And so you don't, I mean, he did do stuff. He did kill people.
Well, yeah, he did fucked up shit.
And he's probably like, I'm going to sit in jail anyways. Let me do these other guys a favor and I'll just confess to these and be on my way.
Well, Don was able to confirm that there was no way that he did this murder because the day, let's see, what was it? So the day that the murder happens in Central Texas, Henry's working in Florida as a roofer. But then the prosecutor goes, well, he had to have paid somebody at his job to work, to cover for him. And it's like, that makes no sense. Obviously, Henry has no fucking common sense whatsoever. So he wouldn't have been that smart. And it's not like he really, it's just stupid. Like, what a lame ass, argument. Fuck you, prosecutor. But he also was able to prove that Henry cashed a paycheck in Florida the very next day, and they confirmed that the signature on the back of the paycheck matched Henry's signature. That it was 1,300 miles one way. There's no physical way that he was able to do that, but still, he was convicted of it.
They still convicted him, closed the case, and that was a lot of the discrepancies with the only evidence they had of most of these 600 what count that we're at right now was just his confession, was all that they had to go on. And some of these, they had detectives literally lay out maps and try to see, well, this happened on this day at this time and he was here at this time. Like, this man had to have a private jet and fly, like, to make some of
It's
these
not
murders.
funny. There's nothing funny about it. It's like we would never do that today.
Yeah.
Like the guy that just got done doing the Idaho college murders, can you see them putting him on a private jet if he was to go confess to other shit?
No.
Absolutely not. Like
No.
it's crazy. Well, as Lucas does, old Henry Lucas,
Oh, Henry.
he eventually decides he's going to recant all his confessions, even though he's been prosecuted for a good portion of these. He's like, you know what? Just kidding. I really didn't do any of that. And
Joke.
yeah. And he's like, police was feeding me details. They were showing me pictures. They were, whatever they possibly could. And the thing is, I'm sure you remember in the documentary they show it's like he called it his office where he would be like
Yeah.
getting phone calls and whatnot, and they'd be like, "Yo, was Henry available on like June 2nd? Nothing booked that day. All right, we're gonna put him here in Minnesota. Yo, was Henry available on June the 3rd? Yeah, he was available that day. All right, we're gonna put him in California. Like it made
Case
no
closed.
fucking
Case
sense
closed. Case
whatsoever.
closed.
Case closed. And what's fucked up, I'm going to give Cora her passy, yes, but what's totally fucked up about the whole thing is the fact that, just like what you said, there's murderers walking the street. There's no justice given to any of these families.
None.
That actually, none.
Well, most of these families believed it, but then you had a few, where they started finding holes in his story. And you said that they were feeding him details. There is literally, because it was around the time where we could film in interrogation rooms, and they were feeding him pictures and details of every case before he talked to those people. So he was able to provide other detectives details, but there were holes in his story. There was one, I cannot remember where the case was, but she said that he claimed he went in through a window and that's how he got into the house to commit the murder. And she was like, there's always been this big, heavy shelf of some sort. There's no way he could have went in that window.
And they're like,
but some families just wanted justice.
That's what. Well, absolutely. And I would hate to know that I'm part of the family, kind of like, again, the nurse that I work with.
Yeah.
Not knowing.
Yeah.
It's better that they just know. But they didn't care. It was about closing cases because they didn't want to actually put forth the fucking work to get it done. Not to mention, they're getting awards and all this for getting him to do this shit. So they're getting recognized like they're the best fucking cops on earth.
Yeah.
But on top of showing evidence, they were also kind of probing him. They'd be like, so this is where you drugged the body, right? Or this is where you did this. So it was like, I'm not really asking you a question. I just need you to, reiterate back to me what I'm asking.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It was super fucked up. It's ridiculous. But we're going to go back for a minute, okay? We're going to backtrack a little bit. Because obviously we know he's recanting, and then he turns around and he's like, nope, I did it. Just kidding. Like, it's like, well, which part are you kidding about, Henry? Did you fucking do it or did you not?
Right.
Like, you need to fucking know. We're going to backtrack to when he, in the beginning.
Time machine.
Where he was confessing to, time machine. We're going to go back to when he confessed to Becky's murder and when he confessed to old Granny Rich's murder, okay? Because we know that he killed his mother. We know that he killed Becky, and we know that he killed Granny Rich. And I say that because in the confessions, he talks about how Becky was homesick, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to go back to Florida. Henry didn't want to go to Florida because he had a warrant for his arrest, okay? So they get in this fight, and he ends up killing her, dismembering her, spreading her everywhere. As far as Granny Rich goes, apparently he was supposed to be taking her to church. They get in a vehicle. They ride around for a while. And he says he just got the urge that he wanted to have sex with her. And like we said earlier, he doesn't like to have sex with living. He wants them dead in order to do so.
Ugh.
So he ended up taking her to an oil field. He stabbed her to death. He had sex with her remains and took her to an embankment. Days later, he decides he's going to go back and get her body, takes it back to the house of prayer, burns the body, and we know all this is factual because they did find bone fragments that had been burned. They were able to find eyeglasses on that property that Miss Rich's family confirmed was Granny Rich. Well, God love her. And then they did find skeletal remains for a young white girl about the same height, weight, and age as what Becky would have been.
Yep.
So we know that he did those things.
There's facts and evidence other than a confession.
Absolutely.
The facts.
And they also did an MRI on old Henry. And I didn't mention this in the beginning because I didn't want people to get so fixated on this aspect.
Yes.
That MRI did prove that Henry did have temporal lobe damage as well as frontal lobe damage. Temporal controlling your impulsivity, the frontal controlling your lack of, well, I shouldn't say lack of empathy, but it caused him to not be empathetic. So you take those two things, add some fucked up childhood to it, and what do you got? You got the recipe for a fucking serial killer.
Amen.
So, again, I know when people hear that, they're going to be like, oh my God, he had like double dose of traumatic brain injury. And yes, that is a very sad thing. Pity the child, not the adult. He also had enough capacity to argue with Becky and know he couldn't go to Florida because he had a warrant. So let that sink in for a moment.
I mean,
okay?
he was not smart, but in the same aspect, he was. Like, to know, like, he had an agenda confessing to all that stuff. Nobody was telling him to. He was just gathering what they were telling him, and he was choosing to do it. And he could freely take that information and make this elaborate story. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He wasn't just, oh, I did this. No, he created a story.
I look at it, though, in my opinion of this, and yours can be completely different, but I think given the fact that he didn't get enough attention as a child, and what attention he did get was so negative, even though it's still a negative topic that he's getting attention for, he was getting attention. He was given a spotlight, and it's like, I'm finally being heard and seen. But at the same time, I kind of take into account with his, lack of empathy.
Yeah.
He's not recognizing that I'm not helping these families that, lost people at all. They're just closing these cases. Some of those cases have not been reopened and probably never will be.
Mm-mm.
And we've got all these like graves with no answers. And it's so sad. It's just a sad thing altogether. But over years, he continuously went back and forth. Oh, I didn't do it. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. And I think he got so caught up in his lies that he would even lie more about lies, if that makes sense. Oh, let me give her passy again. Sorry.
No, you're
but it's oh no.
Just a little reminder, her little sweet baby's got RSV, so just be patient with us.
I know. Yes, sorry. But on June 26th, we're fast forwarding to 1998.
Time machine.
When George Bush was running for president. Here's Henry on death row. Okay? He's still on death row for orange socks.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, there was a lie detector test given to Henry about orange socks. And he failed. They were able to determine he didn't fucking kill her. There's just no way. And with that, George Bush said, we don't have enough solid evidence to execute a man that we don't know did this very crime. He did shitty shit, but he didn't do that one. So we're going to change it from death row to life imprisonment.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's still the only person on record that's ever been changed for in Texas, because Texas don't fuck around.
No, they do not. I mean, and let's be real. Oh, this is a whole thing by itself, so we're not going to dive into this. But there were other detectives that before he got acquitted of that case, they they did not want to reopen these cases. They solved them. They felt good. They were getting all these praises that they've solved all these murders. More so the Texas Rangers, and I don't want to speak illy of them, but they started covering their asses, that they didn't want to reopen these cases, and they were covering their asses so they can remain solved, and Henry did it. So they started locking stuff down. Another detective comes in. He's fresh. He's new. He's looking into one particular case. He goes to get into the directory, which was nowhere near what we have now, and it's locked down. They started locking down all Henry's cases so no other detectives can go diving into it because they did not want to reopen them. They wanted them to stay closed.
They don't want to admit that they fucked up.
Yeah. And that they just did these
That's
to
what it
close
boils
the
down
cases
to.
and be done with them. It makes them look
Yeah,
bad.
they don't want to admit that they fucked up. Yeah, it does. It makes them look, well, sorry guys, you still look really fucking bad.
Yeah.
You know, me and Kurt did talk about Henry though. And I asked him, I said, do you think that he did all these things? He said, I do think that he's responsible for more than the 3 that are.
Oh, absolutely.
He said if he had to guess, 30%.
Absolutely.
Which is still, you know, that's still a low number compared to what he has, you know.
Well, we'll get into
closed as him.
I don't know if on your notes, but the number dramatically went down after all of this was said and he started retracting what he was saying. But it's still a good amount.
Yeah. Well, we do know, obviously, Henry Lee Lucas is no longer alive. He ended up dying, not because death row. And what kills me is they're like, guess what, Henry, you're not going to be executed. And he fucking cried about it. Like, he's like, that's what kills me. Is he's so sad that he's not going to be given the death penalty. But he did die of congestive heart failure. They found him in his cell on March 12th, 2001. And usually we hear of cases like, you know, where I just watched a documentary. It's called There's Something About Jim on HBO. I don't know if you watched it. Actually.
Yes.
This girl is trying to prove that her step grandfather was responsible for so many murders, and even thought at one point he could potentially have been the Zodiac killer. So that's an example.
Ooh.
Like, we're linking all these different murders and stuff to people.
Yeah.
Whereas they are trying now to de-link murders from Henry. And
and fun fact, it happened a few times after he passed away. They have found the actual killers to some of the cases that Henry confessed to and got charged for.
Yes, they did. They did. And they showed that in the documentary too.
Yes.
So just food for thought. So a lot of people are kind of like, oh no, Henry did all those things. Because some people are like, no, but you know, and then you look at old Kurt that I work with, and he's like, I think he might have done 30% of what he confessed to. Not every little thing that he did, but I think that he is responsible for more than what we actually know and have evidence for. But how does someone kill 600 fucking people and there's no string of evidence to link you to it? None.
When he was sloppy in the ones he really did.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's not the smartest. He
was
the brightest bulb in the tanning bed.
But I will say, he's the most approachable, and I think it's weird to say the most likable of the serial killers that I think I've looked into. He just like, there's just something about him where you're like, oh, and you're like sympathizing with him a little bit, even though he's really fucked up.
Well, my little, you know, inner mental health lady, of course, I'm like,
you sympathize with them all.
I can't help it. I do. But I don't.
She's like, oh, they have this disorder and this disorder.
I do. Well, I would never allow, if Henry Lee Lucas would have been a patient of mine, I would have never allowed him to utilize his brain injury as a crutch to excuse
it's
behavior.
not an excuse.
And it's not an excuse. And if you can use that as an excuse, then you have, again, it's like what I said before. He had enough capacity to recognize, I know if I go back to Florida, my ass is going to jail.
Yeah.
So think about that for a second. He had enough capacity then. So if they have enough capacity to be able to say, oh, well, I killed Becky because I have traumatic
Ugh,
brain
just let her go
injury.
home, Henry. God.
He knows more than what. That's abusing your illness. That's
All right.
abusing the illness, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Well, we got a good 10 minutes left in this episode, and we really want to tie in the lovely ladies that Jody is known
Yes.
for.
Yes. Yes. So the girls are going to be part of this.
They're making their
Now, if you're
podcast
not
debut.
familiar, I know they're making their podcast debut. So if you're not familiar with a spirit box, understand that it takes a lot of energy for them to communicate this way. That we're not guaranteed to hear their actual voices, but if you went on my page and watched some content, I'd like to do funny, stupid shit with them, like we did the Easter one. I don't know if you watched it, Ash. And I was like, "Do you want to wish everybody a happy Easter?" And they were like, "No, we don't like Easter." I'm like, "Oh no, like why don't you like Easter?" And they're like, "Cause we're dead." I was like, "Well, that escalated quickly. That's not what I thought that they don't hold back, but we want to get their opinion
Yes.
on Henry Lee Lucas." Now, you might have to like kind of backtrack, right, and listen again because it doesn't always necessarily come through super super clear. But we're going to talk to the ladies. And I'm super excited about it.
I'm
Super excited.
excited.
Let me get this thing going.
I mean, we got to tie him in. It's still talk. I mean, we have to.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm known for. That's what I'm known for. All right. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm super excited.
Let's go.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, ladies. Hey, did you hear it? Hey. They're so excited. All right, we need to know, what do you guys think of Henry Lee Lucas? That kind of sounded like creep before. That's what I took it as.
Sometimes it's hard to make out. And if you can't see that, they're behind Jody with all of our filters.
Well, you can't really see them.
She's got them in a shelf.
I don't know what that was. We'll have to go back and play that. Because it came. I don't know. That was an interesting one, but we'll have to go back and listen. So, ladies, do you think that Henry Lee Lucas killed as many people as what he admitted to? I heard something about a body. I swear it sounded like Henry. Did you hear that? Probably not. No.
I did hear that. It's so hard to make out. And before we ask another question, also, if you're new to the podcast, you don't follow Jody, she has collected a good amount of haunted dolls.
Yes.
Some are cute, some are not.
Oh, don't talk about Ira like that. Ira's precious.
But she talks to them through her dowsing rods, and she talks to them through Spirit Box. They are, two of them were best friends and they died in a boating accident, and she has researched on the internet until she found them, and they were your first dolls, weren't they?
They were. I got them from a lady in Detroit, which is interesting.
Detroit?
According to them, they are originally from Michigan. And I think that they drowned. Well, I don't like to really talk about their death, but they drowned in some big lake up there in Michigan, from what I've gathered. We don't talk about their death. That's not their favorite topic to talk about. I mean, it wouldn't be mine either. But
well, then let's talk about Henry. Literally, I just wanted to give them a little shout out.
I like it. You're like, well, yeah, they are legit my best friends. Like, I'm not kidding. They go everywhere with me. They went vacation to Ohio with me. I did. I did. I was like, look, I know that you're scared, but you'll be fine. But I think Ashley did good with them, and I think Ashley bonded.
They're fine. They're okay. She was cleaning them up, and she takes care of them. But there's one.
I do.
There is one that creeps me out. I'm just gonna be real, but I won't disrespect her.
I'm gonna bring Ira with me when I come to Ohio. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna bring her.
Jody's
I don't know why you're so afraid of her. I'm sneak hour in your room in the middle
All
of the
right.
night.
Let's ask him about orange socks.
Oh,
Did he do
yeah?
that?
Okay. Let's find out. All right, ladies. Ladies. What? I love it.
I
They're
heard
like,
it.
what? I know. They're like, what? Hey, so orange socks. Did Henry Lee Lucas kill orange socks? They closed the case. Did you hear that?
I did
It
not.
was really clear. They closed the case. I heard no.
I heard no right there too. What was that?
Well, I don't know. So, sometimes other things come through too.
I know, it's so hard.
Ladies, it is. Well, after I'm used to it because I do it all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I literally talk to them about my day. Like, I know it's some people are like, that's probably weird as fuck, but they really are some of the best friends that I've ever had. As crazy as that sounds. Although I do hang out with the living, like I don't just hang out with the dead. But I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, I think they just call me crazy too. So do you girls think that he killed orange socks? Just to ask again. I heard not really.
It kind of sounded like a long drawn out no.
Nope.
I could hear it.
You ladies are the best. We love you.
Do we think he killed? I think his final count was like in the 200s. Do we think he killed that many people?
Yeah, do you think he killed more than 200? I swear that sounds like I don't know.
I swear I heard like bitch or beach.
You probably did. It wouldn't surprise me. The spiritual world don't fucking hold back. Boy. Ladies, do you think that he killed more or less than 200? He didn't. So
I
think
literally
you're saying
heard
he
that. I
didn't.
thought they said he did it.
I think they said he didn't.
Okay.
Less than 200? Yes.
Yes. That's bizarre. Oh god, it's crazy. What else we got?
Yeah. What do you want? Do you want to tell us anything about old Henry?
It sounded like creep again.
I swear they've called him a creep like twice. Oh my god! And I gotta know, was he? Do y'all think that he really was a necrophiliac? Yes. Ugh.
Oh, nasty.
Ew! They said yeah again.
Nasty. Did he eat people?
You all agree? Yeah. Did he eat the people? He did. They said he did.
Stop. I heard it. So he's a cannibal. Cool. Henry. God.
Ew, did you? They said ew. Oh, I love them so much. I love them so much.
Can you hold
I
up the
love the
device so
paranormal.
they know? Like, she actually has. Jody's got some really cool equipment because
I've got-
we go ghost hunting.
So, well, they can't really see it because the
It's not an
thing.
app
But
on a
what I'm
phone. It's an actual spirit box, and it's cool.
Well, this one that I'm using, I didn't pull the actual spirit box out, but because I didn't want all the white noise and stuff
Okay.
going. But this one, I've tried hundreds of different apps, and I'm very anti those because a lot of them you have to purchase like words. This one is it's a one-time fee of $10. There's no way you can manipulate that at all whatsoever. It's just not a vocabulary. You pay your one-time $10, you turn that on. It's called the Necrophonic app. So if
Oh,
that's
I've heard
something
a
that
lot
if
of
you're a ghost
people
hunter or
use
whatnot,
that.
I'm I am 100% pro the Necrophonic app. Sorry, Lucy was barking because I think they can just come through the door. But I love it. It's my favorite form of communication. Although again, I have used my one spirit box. I just didn't want to have the white noise going on our thing because that wouldn't be fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Really, it's not. But it's great.
Well,
This I
thank the girls for us because we'll talk to him here in a
yeah.
little bit because we're gonna give you guys. We're gonna go right into our next episode after this. Who we doing, Jody?
I know. I'm not going to tell them on this one. They got to wait till next week.
Okay. Well, we'll leave you a little
Yeah.
teaser because they're gonna release it separately, but we are gonna try something different. Jody picked a case I know nothing about, so you're gonna get natural reactions, and we'll try to do it the other way around as well. We're gonna try like mini cases. We're gonna do bigger cases. We're gonna try it all. So, yeah, stay tuned. Please like, follow, subscribe on YouTube. We're literally working. We've gotten our footing, I think. So we're working on getting content up on all of our social medias, TikTok, Facebook, and just thanks for the support. Just stay tuned for our
Yes,
next episode.
absolutely. Ladies, thank y'all.
Yes.
They're all excited about their debut and whatnot.
Thanks, yes. And they'll be on the next episode.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yes.